Hey everyone, Griff Hamlin here. Welcome and thanks for joining me today. In this video, we're going to do something that I'm going to call it blues with a buddy, for lack of a better word. This comes from a lot of questions and interests that I've had from students in, you find yourself in a position where it's just you and another guitar player. And maybe you're playing an acoustic guitar, maybe you're playing an electric guitar. It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's just you and another guitar player. And you guys want to, jam, but what are you going to play? And inevitably what seems to come up is, well, just play a blues in E. And of course, for some people that makes perfect sense. But for other people that doesn't make perfect sense. Now, I have other videos on YouTube and around throughout courses and all over on how to play the basic blues in E pattern. So I'm not actually going to get too carried away with that right now. Instead, what I want to show you is how to take that idea, and I will kind of explain it as we go, but I'm going to also give you some variations and talk about some other little things that you can throw in so that even if you're playing rhythm and somebody else is playing a solo, you can hold it down and still play something that's at least a little bit interesting to you. Okay, and at the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through this a couple of times, and you may want to, use me as the buddy and try to play over top of it, and I'll show you a little bit about how to do that as well. And then hopefully in a future video, sooner than later, I'll talk about if you were the soloist, how might you play over this? We'll talk a little bit about it, but I'll try and get something that's a little more concrete for you in a future video. I don't want to get too carried away with this. But let's talk about the sort of the formal, I'll say, rhythm structure here. So we're going to be playing a blues in E, right? So I'm thinking E7 chord. Now the basic, blues in E pattern involves the low, the open E string, and the fifth of the chord, which is at the second fret of the fifth string. And I go back and forth between that, 1 and 2 and 3. So I'm doing that note a couple of times, and then I'm going up to the 4th fret on the 5th string, and then back to the 2nd fret. So 1 and 2 and notice that I'm using my palm of my right hand to mute during the and. 1 and 2 and 3 and at this point is where I'm going to add in something that's a little bit of interest. So I'm going to slide up to the 4th fret on the 6th string, 2nd fret and the 4th fret on the 5th string. So when you put that together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And I've got a little bit of palm mute. I'm way back here by the bridge. I know it's kind of hard to see this, but I can feel the bridge underneath the palm of my hand. Sort of this fleshy part right here. I can feel the bridge under there. So I'm kind of half on the bridge, half on the strings. And that keeps everything under control for me. And then when I play something like that I want to ring out, you can see I just raise my hand up. Now in the second bar, I'm going to give you a different variation. 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, back to the 4th. Okay, so now I've got two options. Here's the other one. So how about if I do the first one again? Now we're going to be making our way up to the 4 chord, which is A. So I'm going to do, instead of just playing open E, F sharp, which is at the 2nd fret, 3rd fret G, G sharp, A. So this is what we call a chromatic walk up. You're kind of mimicking what a bass player might do. but I'm going to go ahead and play root fifth chords or power chords. So here's my open E and the B at the second fret of the fifth string, the F sharp and C sharp, the G and the D, the A flat and the E flat, and now I'm at A, which is exactly like E, just moved up a string. So I'm hitting the the fifth string open, second fret on the fourth string, bouncing up to the fourth fret and back, and same variation, but again, I'm moving it by a string. So it's the fourth fret on the fifth string, the second and fourth frets on the fourth string. And then the same variation again. Go up to the fifth fret. Now it's time to go back to my E for my one chord. So I'll do the first variation and now the second variation. But now I'm going to do a little bass move. G sharp, A, B flat. Okay, so open fourth fret on the sixth string, open fifth string, first fret, fifth string. And now I'm at B, okay, which is the 5 chord. And this is where a lot of people kind of check out on me because they see this stretch, okay? And that's really, really intimidating, and I get that. That seems like a really hard stretch. And you might notice it's almost easier to see from a distance that I'm kind of leaning into it. And you'll notice that you no longer see my thumb up here, right? So the top of the neck, like when I'm playing the A, you can see my thumb up there, right? When I play the B, you can't see my thumb up there anymore. If you can see my thumb up there, I can't reach. Okay, that cuts off the length of reach that I have. So I have to drop my thumb. I'm actually going to bring the guitar up higher to make that reach. Okay? Now, occasionally, I will get a student that no matter what, that reach is not going to happen. Maybe there's arthritis involved. Maybe there's an injury. Who knows? The way to work around it is just to stay on that note. Okay? So if you truly can't do it, or if you find yourself in maybe you've been practicing it, but maybe you don't have it down yet. But you find yourself in a situation where you need it. It's game day. You got to play. And you can't stop. Remember, if you're holding down the rhythm for somebody else to solo, you can't stop no matter what. You absolutely cannot stop. You have to keep that tempo consistent or they're not going to be able to keep up with you. That's the hardest thing about this. It's also why it's so beneficial because it really forces you to play. So if you find yourself in that position, just play it as is. Don't make the move. Okay, so leave that fourth fret on the fourth string. Don't try to do the reach if you can't. If you gotta play and you gotta hold down the rhythm, stay put. So I can stay put one and do my same little move there. Sixth fret on the fifth string, fourth and sixth on the fourth string. Or I can stick the pinky out. Now back to the A. I'm going to actually kind of combine both of the variations. I'm going to go to the fifth fret, second fret, fourth fret, fifth, and still do that move, the fourth fret on the fifth string to the second and fourth on the fourth string. And then back to the E7. And that same move that I did before. And now to finish this off, just a little bass thing. B, second fret on the fifth string, another one, open, and then the third fret on the sixth string. Give it a little pull. That makes it bluesy. Okay? So that is the whole thing. Now, in the tab for this, I'll put repeat dots. Why? Because you would repeat this over and over and over again and let whoever is with you solo over it. after 2 or 3 choruses, 2 or 3 times through the pattern, they'll probably say, all right, you take one. But the main thing here is that you cannot stop. You have to keep a nice, steady, consistent tempo because you're holding it down. You're holding down the rhythm and the harmony for somebody else to solo. That's an exceptionally important job. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the whole thing through, start to finish. I'm just going to play it one time through. Actually, maybe I'll play it twice through. And why don't you try and play it with me? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so hopefully you can play that right along with me. And ideally, you can play it nice and steady without me, okay? You might want to set a metronome. That would help you keep a nice, steady tempo. But don't set the metronome until you're sure that you can play it along nice and comfortably. The only thing the metronome will do is sort of keep you at a steady pace. It won't create the time for you. You still have to count. You still have to know where everything is, okay? Now, if you wanted to start to experiment with improvising over this, what you're going to be using is the E minor blues scale, which is the open 6th string, 3rd fret on the 6th string, and then open 2, open 2, open 2 on the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string. And then open 3rd on the top 2 strings. And I would concentrate more on the top 4 strings. And all you do is just kind of make something up for right now. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Right? Nothing fancy. Just try to sort of get in the rhythm, get in the groove. Even just play through the scale. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. Anything like that, just to sort of get your fingers comfortable making the movements. Like I said, I'm gonna kind of break this into 2 parts, and I'll do another video about how you might want to approach playing a solo over this. Because obviously, what makes this fun is, you know, if you're playing back and forth with somebody. One guy takes a solo for a couple of choruses and the other guy plays lead. Then you switch, then you switch, then you switch. If you're into it and you're having fun and you know what you're doing and you're comfortable playing in this style, you can kill hours this way. And it's a blast. And there's a lot of different little ideas, you know, as far as different rhythms that you could do. You could do this in a different key. There's a lot of different options. So if you know, if you enjoyed this video and it looks like this is doing some good, then I'll certainly make more to follow to get more into this kind of stuff. So for now, I'll sign off. I hope you have fun with this. I hope you can play it along with me and get it down. And then we'll talk about how you could solo over it in another video. All right, so take care. Talk to you soon.